What if I told you that for nearly half a century no army on earth could stop them? They burned cities from China to Hungary. They slaughtered kings, they erased empires. And then, in a single valley on a single day, the invincible army of the Mongols was broken. This is the story of the battle that ended the terror of the descendants of Genghis Khan forever. This was the Battle of Ain-Jalut. When Genghis Khan united the Mongol tribes in 1206, he did not just create an empire, he created a war machine. His cavalry moved faster than any army in history. Each warrior carried multiple bows. Each soldier could ride for days without rest. They struck like lightning and then vanished like smoke. Within decades, northern China fell. Central Asia was annihilated. The mighty Khwarezmian Empire collapsed. Russian principalities burned, Eastern Europe trembled. After his death in 1227, the empire did not slow. It expanded. Under his grandson, Hulagu Khan, the Mongols turned toward the Islamic world. In 1258, they reached Baghdad, the capital of the Abbasid Caliphate, the jewel of the Islamic Golden Age. They destroyed it. Libraries were thrown into the Tigris. Scholars were slaughtered. The caliph was executed. It was not just a conquest. It was the end of an era. From Baghdad, the Mongol army moved into Syria. Aleppo fell. Damascus surrendered. The road to Egypt lay open. And if Egypt fell, there would be no power left in the Middle East to resist them. But Egypt was not weak. It was ruled by a warrior elite known as the Mamluks, slave soldiers trained from childhood in the art of war. They were disciplined, ruthless. Professional, their leader was Sultan Qutuz, and beside him stood one of the most brilliant commanders of the medieval world, Baibars. When Hulagu sent envoys demanding submission, Qutuz made a decision that shocked the world. He executed the Mongol messengers. It was a declaration of total war. In 1260, fate intervened. The great Khan died in Mongolia. Hulagu withdrew much of his army eastward to deal with succession politics. He left behind a powerful but smaller force under the general Kitbuka. The Mamluks saw their moment. They marched north. The two armies met in a valley called Ain-Jalut, the spring of Goliath in what is today northern Palestine. It was September 3, 1260. The Mongols had never lost a major battle in open field. Never. Baibars led the opening attack. He struck first, fast and aggressive. Then he retreated. To the Mongols, this looked familiar. It was their own tactic, the feigned retreat. Kitbuka took the bait, the Mongols charged. They pursued the Mamluks deep into the valley. And then, the trap closed. Hidden Mamluk forces surged from the hills. Drums thundered. War cries filled the air. The Mongols were surrounded. For the first time in decades, they were not the hunters. They were the hunted. The fighting was brutal. Arrows darkened the sky. Cavalry smashed into cavalry. Steel rang against steel. Kitbuka refused to retreat. He fought to the end. But the Mongol line broke. And when it broke, it shattered. The Mongol army was defeated. Not delayed, not weakened. Defeated, Kitbuka was captured and executed. The myth of Mongol invincibility died in that valley. The psychological shock was enormous. For half a century, the Mongols had seemed unstoppable, almost supernatural. Now the world knew they could bleed. They could lose, they could fall. After Ain-Jalut, the Mongols would attempt to push into the region again. But they would never conquer Egypt. They would never dominate the Middle East completely. The western expansion of the Mongol Empire stopped, forever. The Khanates survived in Persia, but the dream of total domination, of sweeping into North Africa and beyond, ended in that valley. Ain-Jalut was not just a battle, it was a turning point in world history. If the Mongols had won, the entire Islamic world might have collapsed. Europe may have faced another massive invasion from the south. The balance of power across continents would have shifted. Instead, the Mamluks stood firm, and history changed. Today, the valley of Ain-Jalut is quiet. No drums, no war cries, no thunder of hooves. But in 1260, that ground witnessed the moment the most terrifying empire in history was finally stopped. Not destroyed overnight, but broken, and in that breaking, the world was saved from a different future. Because even the greatest empires can fall,